Showers and thunderstorms rumbled through the area earlier. Will they continue here tonight? I'll let you know coming up.
We're just entering severe weather season. We all know from experience how life-threatening storms can pop up at any moment. What storm victims from last year are doing differently now to prepare, and the one thing officials say most people know what to do, but don't.
Reevaluating penalties for marijuana possession. The steps one local city is taking to lessen the consequences when someone there is caught with pot.
Every day, nearly 5,000 kids younger than 16 have their first taste of alcohol. But what makes some teens choose to avoid it? I'm Sheila Gray. Coming up in my Family 411 report, some young people with advice for other teens and for parents.
You're watching ABC News Channel 20, Nightside. With Vince Dementri, Liz Foster, Chief Meteorologist Rick Kirby, and Sports with Donnie Tillman. This is ABC News Channel 20, Nightside.
Good evening, everyone. Our top story tonight at 10 o'clock, another active and deadly day of severe weather across the central and southern United States.
Some of those storms rolled through central Illinois today, prompting several severe storm warnings and even a few tornado warnings as well. Chief Meteorologist Rick Kirby is in the Storm Team 20 Weather Center with more on what's going on outside right now. Rick.
You know, we still have a little bit of lightning and thunder out there in our eastern counties, but this is winding down quickly, and most of us will see a quiet night here tonight. More rain and thunderstorms, though, will be possible tomorrow. I do not anticipate any severe weather tomorrow, so that's good. Now, here is Doppler radar right now. Notice the showers and storms pushing off to the east. I will show you quickly here as we look at live Doppler radar. A lot of that light green you see is all ground clutter. So the real rainfall is along I-57 in points to the east. That's where it is, and all of that is pushing off to the east and northeast right now. And I will show you also the lightning that's out there. There's a little bit. You can see a little lightning around Danville right now, but that's for the most part diminished. Effingham's had a little lightning around as well. The movement of this again is from the southwest to the northeast, and the trend is for clearing skies, and that's the case out to the west. So we'll at least see some breaks in the skies here tonight, but rain stays in the forecast tomorrow because that low pressure out there is just spinning around very slowly. So we got to keep these rain chances in here again tomorrow. There's your first forecast. Our high tomorrow 67. More chances of showers and storms. I'll break it down when it's most likely coming up.
All right, Rick. Now, while we were fortunate with just lots of rain, towns in the south were hit very hard. This video was taken in Tupelo, Mississippi, where you can see a suspected tornado hit the north and the west sides of the city. A weather reporter in the area says that buildings in a major commercial district in Tupelo were simply wiped away. A spokeswoman for the city said several hotels and restaurants were also damaged. Well, then we're talking about storms in Alabama are already being blamed there for at least 3 deaths. And then there's the devastation and death surrounding from yesterday's storms in Arkansas. Today, Governor Mike Beebe, as you see here, toured the damage in that area. Simply, the state was ravaged. The town of Mayflower took the brunt of it, with more than a dozen deaths blamed on storms there so far. The National Weather Service reported a tornado a half a mile wide, which closed down a stretch of Interstate 40. Forecasters estimate wind speeds for that storm alone topping out at 150 miles per hour.
In addition to those deadly storms west of here and south, there was also one tornado that touched down yesterday in Mount Vernon, Illinois. Now here in central Illinois, we've already seen tornadoes this year. Now that we're in the thick of severe weather season, are you and your family ready at a moment's notice to deal with a potentially life-threatening storm?
It just sucked the whole tree up behind my shed and laid it over on my trailer.
Unfortunately, it took a line of storms that swept through Lincoln Place Mobile Home Park in northeast Springfield last May for some to learn how to prepare for severe weather.
I didn't have emergency kits. I didn't actually have an evacuation plan, anything like that. And since the storm has happened, I actually have an emergency kit in my house, and I actually have one in my car, and we now have an evacuation plan.
Since those storms at Lincoln Place, this tornado siren has been installed just outside the neighborhood. Weather conditions can change quickly, especially when there's fluctuations in temperature.
Honestly, we're probably in peak season if we were going to describe the time at which we have the most or the highest risk of tornadic activity and things like that. We're really there.
Jonathan Munkin, director of the Illinois Emergency Management Agency, says staying informed of weather alerts and how to prepare is most important. Have a family emergency plan, where you'll meet, who you'll call, and have a battery-powered weather radio. However, he says the one thing people know they should do, but many don't, is to have an emergency kit with bottled water, ready-to-eat food, first aid kit, a flashlight, medicines, extra clothes and blankets, an extra cell phone battery or charger, and more. Make sure you keep your emergency kit in the safest part of your house where you'll take cover.
It's amazing how much damage you can actually stave off and how many losses you can prevent if you just take a few extra steps. And there's no loss more important to prevent than the loss of life.
Because weather conditions can change quickly, it's important to keep an eye on changes in the forecast. One great way to do that, download our WICS weather app to your smartphone for updates on the go. And for more information on how to prepare for severe weather and what to include in your emergency kits, go to WICS.com and click on Web Watch.
A Springfield man is in jail after being arrested on several child pornography charges. 71-year-old Terry Campbell now facing 10 counts of circulating child porn. The Illinois Attorney General's office and local law enforcement made the arrest after a search of Campbell's home in the 3600 block of Timothy Road last Thursday. Campbell's arrest is part of what's being called Operation Glass House, which is a statewide initiative by the Attorney General's office aimed at taking down the most active child porn offenders. Campbell faces up to 30 years in prison for each charge if convicted. And a former Illinois lawmaker charged with using both personal and state-owned computers to trade child pornography. The federal complaint alleges Keith Farnham used those computers to trade hundreds of images and videos depicting child porn. It also accuses Farnham of engaging in graphic online chats in which he allegedly bragged about sexually molesting a 6-year-old girl. Farnham was first elected in 2008. He resigned abruptly a week before the feds raided his office in Elgin last month. The 66-year-old, who twice co-sponsored bills toughening penalties for child porn, is scheduled to make his first court appearance Wednesday in Chicago.
Right now, investigators are trying to figure out what caused two separate fires at the same house on West Jefferson just hours apart. The second fire killed 63-year-old Eva Pillsbury of Springfield. Fire crews were called to the first place just before 1 o'clock this morning. The fire was in the kitchen and they were able to put it out quickly. Then around 5 a.m., fire crews were called back to the same location to fight a blaze on the opposite end of the house. That's when they found Pillsbury unconscious. She was taken to the hospital where she was pronounced dead.
We don't believe it to be a rekindle. We believe at this time that these are two separate fires. Both these fires we believe at this time to be suspicious, and they're being investigated accordingly.
Fire Chief Ken Fuston tells us the fire was a difficult and very dangerous fire to fight. Fuston says Eva Pillsbury had a lot of stuff inside, making it difficult for firefighters to maneuver through the house.
We're looking at laws concerning pot. At the Capitol, lawmakers are working on a few bills that would decriminalize small amounts of marijuana statewide. Now, in the meantime, local governments are coming up with their own plans. ABC News Channel 20 Chantel Middleton here in studio to tell us about one of those plans being talked about here locally. Chantel.
Vince, it's like swapping an arrest for a ticket. The city of Springfield already does it, and so does Urbana. Within the next 2 weeks, aldermen in Jacksonville could do it too. At the end of March, aldermen there in the Morgan County town started working on an ordinance to decriminalize small amounts of marijuana. They say they did it at the request of constituents, but as you can imagine, the ordinance is polarizing. We asked around town.
I hear people talking about, their grandchildren and so forth that are involved in drugs, and it's a very sad situation. It breaks down the family. It causes emotional problems. It's just not good.
We don't want to give people an impression that you can come here for the first time and hide behind an ordinance that decriminalizes marijuana.
That's Alderman Tony Williams. He says this ordinance is supposed to help people. It would decriminalize the possession of less than 2.5 grams of marijuana for a first offense. He says council could vote when they meet again in 2 weeks. And on the state level, we are also seeing more support for this. In Cook County today, a commissioner said publicly he would like the state to legalize marijuana like Colorado already has.
Still ahead on Nightside, a state-owned resort in Shelby County still empty years after being shut down. Is there enough support to bring the property back to its former glory?
And the Lincoln Land softball team enjoying plenty of success this season. Sports Director Donnie Tillman going to tell us why that wasn't always the case. That's a little later in sports.
It's the Green Hyundai Cam at Lake Springfield Marina. You're watching ABC News Channel 20.
There's reason for cautious optimism tonight regarding the status of the trouble-plagued Eagle Creek Resort.
That after a recent town meeting in Findlay with some key lawmakers and the State Department of Natural Resources. Now, this is not the first meeting with these state representatives and the IDNR, but it is the first in a while concerning the state-owned property. The state DNR representative says the agency is committed to reopening the resort, and area politicians continue offering up their support. But right now, it's all talk because no one can say where the money will come from to get the job done. David Young, who heads up the Shelbyville Economic Development Team, admits the interior of the resort still needs major work, but he says restoring the facility is a crucial economic driver for Findlay, Shelbyville, and the surrounding towns.
We know what we want, and we know that there are companies out there that can do what we want. All we have to do is find those companies and hand that list to IDNR. They don't have to search for anything.
Easier said than done, and when asked, Young could not come up with a timetable for coming up with such a list. In fact, about this time last year, there was great hope that the resort could be rehabbed and reopened sometime this year. But the company hired to renovate Eagle Creek backed out after performing minimal work. Eagle Creek was closed after a court ordered it shuttered because the facility was overrun with mold. Right now, only the golf course remains open.
A group of downstate health organizations is now better connected to share patient health information among them. The 4 exchanges include 63 hospitals and cover 92% of the state's patient population. The enhanced connectivity will allow the groups to securely share care records, referrals, discharge notes, and other documentation. Planning for the network first began in 2009. Health officials say the move now makes a patient's health record truly portable no matter where they go for care. Ahead on Nightside, prom season is just around the corner, a time when many teens have their first dance with alcohol. What keeps some of their friends from experimenting alongside them?
It was a stormy afternoon and evening. We still have some rain out there, a little lightning as well. The latest Doppler radar and when the next chance of rain and maybe some thunderstorms are coming up next.
Time now to talk about the weather. Boy, we got a lot to talk about. You know, in the break, I was talking with someone who recently moved here to the state, and they said to me, is the weather always like this? And I said, well, it's not uncommon.
Something that we learned too, being transplants,
being newbies,
I guess,
right?
to the area.
Yeah.
But Rick, it has been pretty wild in terms of the temperature and just sunshine to rain and severe weather.
You know, today we had sunshine, then storms of 60-mile-per-hour winds, large hail, then sunshine instantly again after that. Tonight, the winds are calm now for many of us, and we have some breaks in the clouds, and it looks like it is going to be a calm night the rest of the night. That is good. We have rain still falling along I-57 in points east, but even there, this is really diminished to just a brief rain shower with some pockets of heavier rain, as you can see indicated by the yellow. So a little rain here east of Piatt County. Monticello still seeing a little rain over toward Champaign now. Rain. Tuscola and Arcola seeing some rainfall. Again, this is all east of I-57 for the most part. We've had a little rain just east of you in Payne. Shelbyville seeing a little rain now, mainly south of Shelbyville, but there's a little bit down there. And we've had a little rain around Effingham with a little bit of lightning down here as well. There's the strongest cell. This is southeast of Effingham now. Here is the lightning detection. And again, things are pretty quiet. This is the past 30 minutes, and you can see our lightning detection here showing, look at that. Hardly 100 lightning strokes. So this is all quickly diminishing and pushing over into Indiana. So the rest of the night tonight will be fairly quiet. There's this last line of showers and storms. That was the main one that came through here earlier. As you look to the west, there might be a stray shower in our southwestern counties, but there's also some clearing sky down here. So there will be breaks in the clouds tonight. Tomorrow, we might even get a little sunshine, but there will be more rain chances and a lot of clouds tomorrow. Low pressure continues to be cut off from the jet stream. So this is meandering around the region very slowly here. It's snowing right now in the colder air to the northwest. No snow in our forecast, but we are going to cool things down a little bit as we head into the rest of this week. Here's the forecast model. You can see that rain and storm chance this evening, but as you look here around 10 o'clock, it is showing dry conditions. Again, some breaks in the clouds. Tomorrow morning, we'll be in and out of some clouds, but there are some rain chances mainly just to our west. A little better chance of rain here in the afternoon and tomorrow night. And as we head into Wednesday, some rotating showers will be a possibility as well. Now, any storms tomorrow likely will not be severe, so we really don't expect severe weather tomorrow. I want to pause the time lapse for you and get you to look at this. Check this out, Liz Foster. Here come the storms. There they are. Look how quickly the sunshine was behind it. It was a beautiful sky tonight behind those showers and storms. And there is the setting sun. And it was an interesting sunset tonight. actually 48-hour rain totals here, getting pretty impressive. Over 2 inches in Taylorville now, almost 3 in Effingham. Almost everybody else over an inch and a half of rainfall. So a lot of rain has fallen. Temperatures outside right now in the 50s, so a little bit cooler outside here this evening. But the winds now are calm for most locations. Otherwise, winds here blowing generally still out of the south and southeast. So 51 for the overnight low tonight. This evening rain and storm chance pretty much has come to an end for everybody west of I-57. And then for tomorrow, mixed clouds with a little sunshine, an afternoon rain or storm chance. 67 for the high, so cooler, a little breezy. There's a 7-day forecast. Rain chances Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Highs only in the 50s. Let's talk weekend. Vince Dementri loves the weekend. Partly cloudy, 65 Saturday, 70 with a slight rain chance again on Sunday.
Welcome back. Well, it's prom and graduation season, and every year at this time, teenagers hear about the dangers of alcohol. But some high school kids are making the decision not to drink long before those milestones.
Special correspondent Sheila Gray found out how they're able to stick with their choice. That's tonight's Family 411 report.
You kind of want to be socially accepted, and that's where the big pressure is.
It could be fairly tempting to do it.
There's a lot of peer pressure, that's for sure.
Every day in the U.S., nearly 5,000 kids younger than 16 take their first full drink of alcohol. And experts say underage drinking accounts for 11 to 20% of the U.S. alcohol market. But these 3 high school seniors can boast as they get set to graduate that they've never had a drink.
A lot of it was just attaching myself to the right type of people that had the same values.
CJ is class president. Tom's a future chemical engineer.
I always just thought it was not an intelligent thing to do.
Mark's a starter on the state champion basketball team.
I think I made that choice to be in the drug-free club because, you know, it's a good, you know, it gives you a good excuse to say no and to avoid, you know, bad temptations.
Schools across the country have programs and clubs which promote saying no to alcohol. But educators say kids don't have to sign a pledge or join a club. What's really important is surrounding teens with positive peer pressure to help them make good decisions. Decisions like which friends they choose.
For me, it was really easy. My friend group, none of us do drink or do any type of drugs or anything.
Making sure that we're respecting our bodies and trying to get the most out of our talents.
When all the people that care about you, like parents, teachers, coaches, and, you know, brothers and siblings, if they're telling you something, it's probably right.
Most parents tell their kids not to drink, but the difference may be what young people learn from responsibility and consequences before high school.
My dad used to work undercover narcotics. He just told me stories about all the bad things he's seen that happen.
They just sort of told me, you know, it's your choice. Any choice you make has consequences, and it's going to come back to haunt you, or it's going to come back to help you.
They always taught me to be like the CEO of my life, and so every time I make a decision, it's to better my company, as in myself.
And perhaps leading to profits these young men have not yet imagined.
And that was Sheila Gray reporting. If you know someone who needs help, the National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence can point you to resources in your community. Log on to our website, WICS.com, and click on Web Watch for more information.
Sports Director Donnie Tillman joins us now.
Yeah, St. Louis Cardinals calling up a couple of players from their minor league system.
Hey, you're talking about help. They need a little help as well. And that's right, a couple of faces on the bench tonight for the Birds. I'll tell you who they are next in sports.
Coming up to the bigs.
Good evening, everyone. The St. Louis Cardinals have a new addition to the ball club tonight. Actually, a couple of new adds to the roster. St. Louis sends Colton Wong and Shane Robinson down to AAA. Up are Greg Garcia and Randall Greichuk. Both players watching from the dugout as the Redbirds tonight hosting the Milwaukee Brewers. Cardinals up 1-0, bottom of the 6th inning. Matt Holliday at the plate, and Holliday hits one deep to center field that just gets over the wall for his second homer of the season. Cardinals up 2-0. Same inning, Alan Craig gets his bat going tonight after an infield hit. This one a big hit, a home run to left field. That's his second of the season. Right now, the Cardinals and Brewers, however, tied at 3 apiece. That game in the top of the 10th inning. White Sox slugger Jose Abreu named the AL Co-Player of the Week this week. The Southsiders hosting the Rays. Sox trailing 2-0. Bottom of the 2nd inning, Alejandro De Aza does something about that. The Two-run shot there ties the game up at 2 apiece. Sox down a run in the 4th inning. Alexei Ramirez off to his best start as a Southsider. Triples off the wall in deep center. Diane Vicieto comes in to score. Right now, Southsiders leading at 7-3. That game in the top of the 9th inning. To college baseball, the Fighting Illini baseball team heads into their final midweek game on the schedule. Illinois will welcome the Salukis of Southern Illinois tomorrow at 6 p.m. The Illini are perfect at home during the middle of the week. It's the 4th meeting this season between the two ball clubs, with SIU taking 2 of 3 back in March in Carbondale. On the other ball diamond, the Lincoln Land Loggers have already built a sturdy and successful softball program over the last few years. In fact, at one point this season, the Lady Loggers reeled off 15 straight victories. This year, they're looking to add a page in the history books. ABC News Channel's David Coy has more.
It wasn't that long ago when someone mentioned Lincoln Land softball. They didn't have a clue of who they were.
We were doing so much better than we did last year, so we're so ready to go again.
Now the Loggers get their props. Last year, they made history by making the NJCAA tournament, finishing 9th out of 16 teams. That gave them a taste of success, and now the Lady Loggers are looking to punch their ticket again to the tournament.
It was really neat. The first team for this Lady Loggers team to ever make it to nationals. And you know, Coach was telling us about 5 years ago when he first came, they were wearing shorts and t-shirts as their uniforms, and now we're a team that goes to nationals and we're a force to be reckoned with.
The Loggers have 14 returning players from last year's successful team. Head coach John Marcellia says the girls have experience, great work ethic, and more confidence.
I think our biggest thing as a team is staying focused. I think we all have really good individual strengths, and it's just a matter of pulling them all together.
When Marcellia took over for the program 5 years ago, he inherited a team that consistently finished in the middle. Marcellia says winning is all about attitude and dedication.
I don't have to tell them, do this, do that. They do it on their own. They go out and put forth the effort. It's really fun to watch in practice.
Right now, the Loggers are currently ranked 10th in the NJCAA and broke the school's most wins record in a single season with 45 wins.
We definitely do have a big target on our back. We have a lot of teams after us to kind of prove themselves, and it's a chance for us to prove ourselves as well.
I just don't want to stop. We're going to take it game by game and just keep winning every game we can.
In Springfield, David Coy, ABC News Channel.
All right, David, thank you very much for that story. Briefly, new Bears wideout Josh Morgan arrested on Sunday. That's your look at sports. Rick has a final check of your forecast when we come back.
Hey, Rick's back, and good news is all that severe weather is out of the area, and, you know, to a degree, we dodged a bullet.
Yeah, well, yeah, it could have been worse for sure. To our south, it's been a rough couple of days, a lot of tornadoes. But here, a couple of funnel clouds today, otherwise some hail, some strong winds. That's all out of here. It's a calm night the rest of the night tonight. More rain chances tomorrow, the next few days. Maybe some storms tomorrow, but not severe.
Okay.
All right, well, that's it for Nightside. Jimmy Kimmel is up next.
As always, thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Enjoy your day, everybody.